Hi, everybody. Dr. Thoyinstar. This is the wonderful program you'll be watching or you'll be waiting for all these days. And I'm so happy to be here again. And guess who I brought today is my beautiful and intelligent person all the way from another country. Before I introduce her, I just want everybody to relax and listen to this special edition of Talks About Freedom, in which you all know that what we do here is to talk about freedom, how people can be free from anything they are doing. And that's what we are here to talk about. So, I'm so happy to introduce my guest today, which is Sister Yemisi. She's an educator, a professional in anything related to education. She is the CEO and founder of EduInnovate Solution LLC. And I'm so happy to introduce her. She's all the way from Qatar, and then I'm so happy to see her here today. We welcome my Sister Yemisi from Qatar.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you so much for having me on this program.
You're welcome.
Thank you for giving me also the opportunity to just come and talk and be part of this special edition.
And
let people know what EduInnovate is all about.
Yes, you're absolutely welcome, because I'm so happy about your line of business, and then education is part of the tools that can set us free in life.
Yes.
That's why I want to hear from you. How can we be free using education as a tool?
Yeah.
You understand? That's the reason of bringing you here. And like I was saying, in this series, we are talking about freedom. In which freedom is the act whereby you can do anything, anytime, at any time. You can act the way you want. You can go to anywhere you want. You can do anything without interference of anybody, either state, federal, or things that's. But the thing you can do that will not affect others. You understand? Negatively. And that is all about freedom. But in your own view, I just wanted to give us the definition of freedom. What do you think? How can you relate this freedom to your expert area?
Okay, so for me, I would say freedom is the power to act. When you have that power to act, when you have that power to think, especially when we say thinking critically, when you have that power to speak, without people trying to hinder you or reiterate you from doing certain things. So freedom basically is the power to think, act, and behave accordingly as individuals. And as we were having the discussion,
Yes.
before even coming live on here, that we have different types of freedom. So we do have, for example, intellectual freedom, we have economic freedom, we have social freedom, and we have emotional freedom. But again, I would focus more on intellectual freedom because it's related more to education.
Okay.
So we'll say intellectual freedom basically is, especially when it comes to kids, when it comes to students, is teaching them how to advocate for themselves, especially when it comes to learning. If I step back mostly and I think or look at as to how I was educated or how we went to school during that time, it was just more of going into the class, cram, and whatever you cram, that's
Yeah.
Or it was more of the traditional family that we grew up in Nigeria. It was more of you have to do this a certain way, you have to go to school. We didn't have the freedom to actually say, this is how I want to be taught.
Yes.
This is how I want to learn. This is the kind of learner that I am. So for me, over the years, I figured out that I'm a visual learner.
Okay.
So if you sit me down and you talk, yes, I'm actively listening, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I understood or I understand everything that you have said. But if you're talking and at the same time visually showing me what you're saying, I can actually relate and get exactly what you're trying to say. So the fact that education also has evolved, and now learners have to understand what freedom is, how they can actually respectfully speak to their teachers or other educators like, oh, sir, this is the way I want to learn. Okay. So this is one of the things that EduInnovate is about.
Oh.
Trying to teach kids, trying to teach students, advocate for yourself. Let us know how you want to learn, especially we knowing that we have different kinds of learners,
yes,
and they learn in different styles. Yes. So knowing that we're able to cater to education as a whole.
Wow. So that's very beautiful. So from what you just mentioned now, the kind of person you are like kind of Victoria, somebody that
Yes.
learn from physical things. Show me what you are talking about. When you are talking about ocean, I want to say ocean. This is ocean. Is it blue? Is it white? Is anything you want to know? But you want to see the physical
I'll
part
give you a
of it
practical
also.
example. And to be honest with you, I think visually it does a lot of kids or a lot of students or a lot of individuals actually learn visually. So in my experience, I've lived for 14 years in Doha. So again, I started my career at the Cambridge School as a biology, chemistry, and physics teacher. I also taught maths on the side. Then later on, I was lucky to get an offer with the government.
Wow.
So I worked in the government school. And the fact that I worked in the government school, English was not their first or second language. English was like their third or fourth language.
Oh my God.
So to teach,
yes,
a community like that, you have to be either dramatic, you have to have a lot of pictographs, you have to have a lot of pictures in which these students can learn. Because again, if you're just speaking English and you go to like, good morning, hi, how are you? They're just like in their head, just looking at you and just teach us, okay, say what you have to say and get out or go.
Because English is not their
first language.
But you can show them what they relate with.
Like
they will understand
pictures,
what
drama. Then you see this aha moment in their faces, like, this is what
we are talking about.
Trying to say.
So, and even if they translate it into their own language, they will also understand that this is what my lecturer or
they understand
it is talking about. Yes. So that's wonderful, and that will give them freedom.
Yes. Expressing themselves, like, this is how I want, this is how I understand things. Yes. Then, as a teacher, I'm picking all these scenarios and piecing them together to say, okay, I think this is how my learners like to be served. Because as a teacher, as a leader, I see that community as a community where we're serving. It's servitude. We're offering a service. We're serving the kids. We're serving the parents. We're serving. So
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So at what point did you personally experience freedom?
I would say that I experienced, I think the first stage of freedom for me was when I had the opportunity to leave the house.
Yeah, your parents' house.
Yeah. Being the only child, again, we know how that works.
Yeah.
So the opportunity of leaving my parents' house, not even just leaving the house, traveling outside the country. So this was when I really started learning, okay, how life is, or taking decisions, learning from whatever decisions that I took. And if I'm taking the wrong decision, then again, I'm learning from that mistake and I'm also fixing. So this is where I would say physically, I got freedom. But in terms of profession, so for me, I went to Babcock University.
Okay.
I studied agricultural science and industrial technology. Oh, so you see that agricultural science is totally different from education.
Yes.
So the fact that I was in another country and I could actually see that I would function better as a teacher than being an agri person.
Okay.
So that I would say professional freedom to make that decision. And we know the general stereotype. Well, you're a teacher. Just their rewards are in heaven and not on earth. Yeah. So that was when I got professional freedom and I started to explore. And I loved what I was doing. I always say that I don't think I would have been productive, in any profession if I didn't teach. teach.
Wow.
Or if I didn't go into
Wow,
education.
because you discovered that on time.
Exactly.
And
And
then
that
you
was
find your freedom through it.
And that was how I found freedom. And you know, like freedom again, like it was more of pivotal for me. So like I found that yes, I was like an exceptional teacher, mentor, just generally talking to people.
To educate
And I just started to like build on it, and voila.
Wow.
Thank God. Here I am today. Yeah.
So that's wonderful. Now, so yeah, getting out of your parents' control to the another country. When you get to that country, also you will still feel like, oh, you found
Cultural,
yourself, under cultural shock, or how am I going to navigate this thing?
Yes.
So because you still need to fight for your freedom in that place to operate very well.
Yeah.
So at what point are you able to figure that one out in Qatar?
So again, thank God for grace, thank God for intelligence, and thank God for foresight, and thank God for patience. So in all of it, yes, it was more of a cultural shock for me because coming from an African background where respect, we're big on respect, even if someone is maybe 3 years older than you, auntie this, auntie that, or maybe when you see somebody elderly, you quickly go carry their bag. So the fact that I'm coming from that kind of environment to an environment where, yes, they are respectful, but their respect is different from where I'm coming from.
Okay, it's different.
And it was more of asking questions. So they ask a lot of questions, especially the students.
Okay.
They ask a lot of questions, whereby you're coming from a place whereby they're not asking questions.
Yeah,
they're asking you questions like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Which country? You Kenya? All those questions were quite different. Then apart from that, when you say please or sorry, it doesn't resonate with them. Maybe your pencil
because you are
down,
not the one that do it.
Exactly. Then they're asking you, why are you saying sorry?
Because you are not the one that do it.
So I'm coming from a polite environment.
Yeah.
The environment is polite, but again, they do things in it. So it was more of culture shock. And I remember vividly, like sometimes I will call my mom and again when they talk. So Arabs naturally have loud voice.
Okay.
I could not decipher if they were actually yelling or having a conversation.
Or just wanted to
Exactly. But again, they were having a conversation, but because their pitch is high, I wasn't. So that 1 year I kind of struggled. Okay. So over let's say months, I got used to it. Then how did I break? Because again, it's difficult to come from another country, another culture. Then you begin to rise up the ladder. You start off. I started off as a teacher, and it was even Cambridge School that that hired me that time. Then the government. Then from there, I went into the American system, worked in the American Academy for 2 years.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Then I went to a kindergarten because again, I wanted to understand how the curriculum is, to build up a pre-K to K curriculum. So I was able to also have that understanding. Then eventually, I got an offer with Education Above All, which is like a multinational organization, which is partly under the UN. So, in all of this experience, it was difficult to just, go to another country. Then if I was not assertive, or if I was not a hard worker, so I had to work times 2, put in that effort, then I had to also advocate for myself.
Okay.
And me saying I advocate for myself is also what we are trying to incorporate into our curriculum. So that from a young age, kids understand how to advocate for themselves.
Wow.
Because for us, nobody taught us how to advocate for ourselves.
Exactly.
Especially in different situations.
Especially in Africa, they train you to be quiet. And be quiet and not talk much.
Exactly.
Or not even asking questions.
Exactly.
That's why in Africa, they don't really ask questions. So it's very hard for them to even get the kind of freedom they want. because we don't even know what they want at times.
Yes.
And because of the norms and everything, rules and regulations that are on ground, a lot of kids just go to school going sick
yes.
without even expressing or enjoying what they are doing. So, but I can see a lot of joy in what you are doing, and because you find tools you can use to support yourself and also impart in the next coming generation.
Yes.
So, and if I listen to you, where I can see how you navigate yourself, even when you are free from your parents, then to another country. In this country, the cultural shock that you got your freedom from, even that cultural shock, to understand that are you yearning or you are trying to explain something that I did not understand to me, but you're able to get your balance. So you now you understand when they are yearning. Now you understand when they just want to get something, and then now you even understand naturally their voice is just so loud, different from where you are coming from. Because children of that level in Africa, where you're coming from, will never raise their voice up to that level, and then they even have the fear in that, oh, my
if I do
teacher
the
will
same,
beat me, but here you cannot even beat them. So you can see kind of two freedom that you need to schedule. I mean, you need to balance with, so that you will not go against their culture, and then also violate anyone's rights.
And one thing that when I started to advocate for myself, I found out that naturally they accepted, they became more warm towards me. They became more, that's the category. They became more warm, they became more nicer. So it was more of, okay, advocate for yourself. Like, who are you? We're not going to come and like have to ask you questions. You have to actually advocate, say who you are, say what you have to offer, you know. So from there, the respect came in, the love came in, the Yemisi, hi, Yemisi. So that was how I was able to like gain ground. So advocating actually for freedom is actually a key word that can help anybody to actually reach the heights they want to.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful. So now, from what you talk about, I can see how you navigate from one company, government, private, parastatal, even up to United Nations, which you are working for now. So, and now you have your company in US. What is kind of freedom you are also looking for to establish this thing in US?
So, like I said, for me, when I look at a functioning classroom, a functioning classroom should just not have one kind of student. A functioning classroom should have gifted and talented students. It should have special education students. It should have regular students. Now, how do we bring all these kind of learners under one roof?
Okay.
And build a curriculum plan that is holistic. Now, the word holistic has to embed with well-being. We're talking about freedom, advocacy. We're talking about content. We're talking about skills. We're talking about how you could, bring all this together and apply in the real world. So, I remember when I was like doing a bit of read up, and when I was writing the research work that I have done, and the question keeps coming to my mind, like, how is US, for example, not topping the charts? So when we look at international examinations, standardized examinations, it's called PISA. You have countries like South Korea, countries like China, countries like Japan, even Canada is more than the US. Why are they topping the chart? Why is US just on number 18 when it comes to PISA? Like they're not on the top. What are all these countries doing well? So you will find out that these countries are just not focused only on content and skills. There's well-being. There is a lot of instruments, or there are lots of things that they are adding. Rest time. There are lots of things that they're adding up together to ensure that their learners, wherever you take them to, you set them up for an international exam, they're still topping the chart. they're still coming up as first. And when we say first, like first in the whole world. Now, what I have learned in this research is part of the tools that I've embedded into EduInnovate.
Yes.
So, how can we take content? How can we take real life experience? How can we take skill-based, practical lessons inside the class? How could we take asking a child? So, how would you like me to teach you 2 plus 2? Mm-hmm. Because I know that 2 plus 2 is 4. But again, maybe let's say Sulaiman understands that 2 plus 2 is 4. But how can he get it? Maybe he needs two balls and 2 balls. Color this yellow and color this blue. Then he can visually see 1, 2, 1, 2, 4. Okay. So we've embedded all this together to create EduInnovate. And this is what we're saying, like in terms of the services that we offer, is writing curriculum plans. And when I say curriculum plans, just not any kind of curriculum plan, because I'm aware for a fact that the curriculum plan that works in the US is different from the curriculum plan that will work in Qatar, is different from the curriculum plan that will work in Nigeria. So it's obviously studying the community, looking at the kind of people that are in that community, then looking at the curriculum, then building something that is bespoke, whereby we're looking at all the tools and adding it together to build a plan. Setting up programs whereby programs that has to do with, so we call them enrichment programs, which is just a way from going into the class and sitting down and listening to what the teacher has to say. So enrichment program that involves a cross-curricular activity. So if I want to teach, again, mathematics, I could go through the approach of writing a business question. Tunde is in the market. He has 4 naira. He has $4, and he's about to spend 2. And we have visual representation of people acting this out, whereby we're teaching maths, but we've gone through a cross-curricular way to put in real life experience. So that they can better, instead of using, so for example, in Doha, we use Qatar Riyals and Dirham. But if you're bringing a curriculum to me that says pounds and pence, the boys are just
looking at it. You are speaking Arab.
Exactly. But if I'm saying Qatar Riyals and Dirhams, or I'm saying Rupee and,
they understand.
They understand it. So we look at these things and embed them together to build plans. So we do the curriculum plan. We support startup schools. So startup schools, because in terms of accreditation, in terms of quality assurance, there are standards in which the ministry or the government of that the country, municipality, local government, that's what they're trying to look at before so we support startup schools. We also do online tutoring, different subjects. So and we do programs that can advocate, that can make, that can encourage personal development in students.
Wow, this is wonderful, and I'm so happy listening to all these tools you are even bringing to America. So because from my notes here, EduInnovate solution will provide a lot of solutions for students here in US, teaching them a new way to learn. Because in all these international exams like PSAT, LSAT, all these things, so there's a lot of backwards in America. The students don't really perform very well if we are looking at it, and it's because maybe some of them, they don't really have tools, or they don't even have the freedom to learn what they really want to learn, or the sample or pictorial or visual thing is not enough, when students have ability sometimes to practice with many things or test a lot of tools that they can use to study and understand this thing very well. Students will perform much better.
So in my school for last year, so my school produced a student that was the highest in the whole of Doha for coordinated science double award.
Wow.
So when we say coordinated science double award, this is physics, chemistry, and biology combined together. So again, this testament tells you that we know what we're saying.
Yeah.
So it's more of just ensuring and thinking critically. Again, like what I'm doing it with, again, passion.
Yeah.
So what are the things that I can use to support students to make sure that they excel? And you know, that recognition went around the whole of Doha, like, Miss Yemisi School, hey, came first, the highest thing in double coordinated science. And it was a big thing. It made them social media. So,
congratulations for that.
Thank you very much.
That's a great achievement. So, and you deserve it, because what you put in this program, teaching, your passion is so great. And that is why I love what you are doing. Just like you said, you love what you are doing, because you perform much better in that area.
Yes.
And that is another area I want us to look or get into now. A lot of people are doing what they don't want. A lot of people are doing what they don't even love to do. And that's why they are unproductive. You understand? So how can people understand or get way where they can find out this is what I love to do?
Well, I think again, and these are the conversations that I have with my spirit, body, and soul, the Trinity together.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with community, environment, parents sometimes. So you asked me the question of freedom.
Yes.
I'm sure if I was still with my parents, I would probably be working in the bank, because my mom is a banker.
Yeah, so and
I
that's what
studied
they want
Greek
to do.
and I'm working in the bank.
Yeah.
So again, it has to do with the environment. So as a parent, I think it starts with realization with our generation.
Mm-hmm.
Would you, as a parent, want your kids to make the same mistake?
No.
That you made?
Okay.
No. So this is where, yes, like I have always said that when I start having kids, yes, you're going to school, but for the boys, maybe they have to choose skills.
Okay.
Now you go and learn how to make shoes, you go and learn how to buy. Because I understand that, yes, you have to be educated, but again, there has to be something on the side that
because some skills.
Exactly, skills. So what worked for me was like naturally I had the flair to have conversations, make jokes, crack, not so shy sometimes. So I noticed that with that, I could actually delve into teaching. And again, like this has helped me, like I said, like all the way through. So it's more of parents now, or my generation now, should understand that you can only guide
the children.
And part of the things that I do for my own school community is I have parents come in and say, I want my child to be an engineer. No, why? My question is always why.
Okay.
And I don't have that conversation with them until their son, because I am the principal of a boys' school.
Okay.
Until their son is sitting down and we're having that conversation like, okay, what exactly do you want? Then I look at the grades. Okay. So some parents want their kids to be doctors, but their grades is
not up to them. Okay.
Their grades is speaking something else. And when I'm also looking at the enrichment program, they're very good when it comes to IT.
Oh, okay.
In terms of building Scratch, Python, coding, using blocks.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
So but because the parents want them in certain fields.
So this is where I begin to speak up. This is results. The results show it. So I don't just speak on this is what I think. These are the results. The results shows that your child is doing well here and not well in this line. Okay. Now, being a ministry school that is affiliated to the UN and also education above all, I have the right to actually say this is with evidence that this is what I see that your son should do, and that's it. Wow. So it's not like again I go from the approach of this is it and final, but I try to walk them through gradually to see the benefit of this, then this, and again this has helped most of the people that I had spoken to.
Wow, this is wonderful. And then, is there any success story about whereby the parents now agree with what you prescribe based on evidence that, okay, my children or my child will go for this instead of what I want?
So yes, a lot of success stories. A lot of success stories. So numerous of the success stories. So I have two boys that their parents want to be medical doctors.
Okay.
Now, after advising them, because we have, like I said, the enrichment class. So the enrichment class also allows students to create, build things
Okay.
from the scratch using technology, Arduino, and all these things putting it together. So by the time I convinced the parent to say, your son, I want your son to be a medical doctor, but again, the results are not saying medical doctor. He has to be either an IT or engineering.
Okay.
This boy with his friends actually developed a project called Green Imperium. So Green Imperium is an agric, and I because again, like I did agric, so I wanted to let's experiment and see if we can actually build or simulate different kinds of weathers, especially Qatar being very hot country. So you have no only dates basically go there, like naturally. So how can we simulate different kinds of weather that we can start to grow mango, we can start to grow strawberry. So that was the project Green Imperium. So we built the prototype first, and
Oh my God.
that is using technology to simulate different kinds of weather in greenhouse.
Yes.
And let's see how
It works. Before you
the
know.
machine actually saves the right temperature or simulates the right temperature in which we call it molokia, can grow, in which corn can grow.
Okay.
And we actually came first in the ministry, whereby they had to say, you have to go for an exhibition in the Expo 2023.
Wow.
So that alone, the parents are ever grateful that, I kind of insisted to say, okay, no, it can't be medical doctor. It's either you go for IT or you go for engineering.
That's wonderful.
And,
That's wonderful. In fact, I cannot wait to see these tools working here in
the US.
again, because this is wonderful thing. Because I remember when I was growing up also, so it's very hard to know what you want to do because your parents want, especially in Nigeria, me to parents want me to be an accountant, So then I don't eventually.
Mine wanted
work in a
computer
bank.
science, but
So even when I get here too, I still struggle. When I first get to US, okay, where's the money? Where's the money? That's what's in my mind. So the course is, you go to the healthcare industry or you go to the IT industry. So, but when I find myself, I find out that both lines are not even my line, until I get to where I am today, where I'm functioning more as who I am today. So, and that's where I got my freedom also. So, thank you so much for this discussion. It's really, really, really good. And I believe our people enjoy one or two things from this discussion. So, when we are still talking about freedom, we have freedom from fear. So now, we move from Africa to Qatar, then working on US. Is that at any point you fear that can this be done?
I think for me, I always mentally, I'm someone that pushes myself beyond my comfort zone.
Okay.
And I think what worked for me was ask questions. I always ask questions. When I meet people, I'm very respectful, I'm nice. I ask questions. And the questions that I ask are just not random questions. The questions that I ask is obviously tied to my end goal. So what I would say to people is there has to be a plan.
Okay.
Now, with that plan, you're able to ask the right questions. You're able to push yourself out of your comfort zone. That's because you've created a blueprint that you want to follow. Yes, you're afraid and say, okay, the US. But again, I'm the same person that moved from Africa to Qatar. So why can't I move from Qatar to the US?
Yeah, you know, some people they are so comfortable wherever they are. So because you spent so much years in Qatar, so oh, I'm satisfied here. Why do I want to explore another country? So and that's where fear
Comes
in. So I'm so happy that you get your freedom.
Fear is an enemy to anybody. Fear is an enemy of progress.
Yes.
You have to push yourself. Like again, what is the? I always told myself like, okay, if I walk up to, for example, the doctor, and I ask the doctor this question, and I ask the doctor that question, what is the highest doctor will say? No,
Okay.
cannot kill me.
No.
No won't kill me. So ask the question, make the plan. Yes, you will get rejection, but again, like you will get rejection just to know again how to re-strategize to move forward. So,
Wow. That is so good. So my people, that is our guest, Sister Yemisi, full of experience in education line. So she already talked much about how we can use education to navigate things in our life and how to overcome the fear that things will not even work in our life. So for you people out there that's still under the bondage of what am I going to do? How can I do this? How can I do that? Wherever you are looking onto me, what you need to do is to start something. Start asking questions that will give you the liberty that you want so that you will be able to move from where you are right now if you are not productive, wherever you are, so to where you can be productive so that you will know the essence of of which you are alive. So people need to benefit from your freedom as well. So your freedom ought not to hinder anyone's freedom as well.
Yes.
So get your freedom and don't disturb others' freedom. So in any area of your life, it can be your employment, it can be your social life, political life, cultural life. So get comfort at the level you really want it. That it's not going to be like you are under influences or you are under control of anybody. So anything you can do to free yourself and free others, that is what I want you guys to start thinking about. Because a lot of people are just following the crowd without
asking themselves what exactly?
What can I do?
Yes, what can I do? What makes me me?
Yes. So until you get yourself, that's when you get freedom. But if you are still following others, because they are doing that, that's why you are doing it. So you are still following others. You are not here where God or nature wants you to be. So I really appreciate you, my sister.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy that you are here today. Though I know you're going back so soon, and I will hear good news about you and this company that is here in US that is launched. I will love to see it growing, and I promise you I will be with you.
Thank you so
And
much.
I will be checking on you all the time to make sure that our people benefit from this great thing that is coming. So welcome to Global Outreach again. I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks.